What's up, FTM Kickstart? This week's topic is all about tea, how we obtained it, how what steps we had to go through to get it. It differs state by state. It differs county by county even. I know, at least here, it's pretty of a smooth ride here in Minnesota. They're the second most trans-friendly state, so that kind of helps. With my process though, like I said, it'll be pretty easy. My girlfriend was kind enough to seek out a gender therapist one night while I was at work. We came up with a couple of them. I said that I liked the feel of this one that I see now. She's awesome. I liked the website. She made you feel really, I guess, like safe is how I felt. And I know some guys it takes weeks, many visits to therapists to find the right one. I mean, you want to be comfortable talking to someone about how you feel, especially with gender issues, because it's very important not only to yourself but your life. I mean, it's your life. And so I found this one. It wasn't too far away. I think it's only like a 20-minute drive, so that was even better. I mean, I'm pretty close to the city, so that helped. Just east of the Twin Cities. And she took Minnesota Care, which is what I'm on. And it's hard to find places that take Minnesota Care because people don't really like the way Minnesota Care works, or like the medical assistance through the state. And so it was awesome that she took it. I went and saw her for the first time, and I really enjoyed how she ran things and how she talked about things and how confident she was with it and how experienced she was with working with the LGBT community. And so I decided to stick with her, and about 2.5 months later, I ended up getting my letter. And she usually goes by the standards of care. She even told me that in the first meeting, that she goes by the standards of care because, one, it's necessary. You can't really get to know someone in 2 weeks and say, here's your letter, So I saw her once a week first, about 2.5 months, and then I got my letter. And so I made an appointment, and I got into an appointment. It was about 3 weeks after I called, which ended up starting. Kind of how it went is I made an appointment, and she said whenever that appointment is, she'll have the letter written up. Well, I got in faster than what she thought, so that's how the 2.5 months came into play rather than 3. And so my therapist was awesome. She really made me feel good, and answered all the questions that I had about testosterone, and so I called the doctor, my hormone doctor. She's I think one of 3 or one of 2 maybe that don't work through the University of Minnesota. The U of M is doing a lot of research on it, so therefore they require a lot more of extra therapy, extra classes, extra sessions of this and this, and you really have to follow by their rules, or else they're not gonna give you the prescription for testosterone, which to me it was just kind of sketchy. And I mean, I understand they're doing research, but it's almost like they're forcing you into doing all these things, and so I didn't want to go that route. And this doctor was really nice. She was awesome. I made an appointment. She wasn't sure about if my insurance was going to cover it because it was Minnesota Care. It was kind of a hit or miss, and so I went in for my first appointment with her, and I had no copay, so therefore that was a good thing. I had no copays. I didn't get charged for the visit, so then when I went to go for my prescription at the clinic I went to that she works at, which is the primarily transgender clinic down in, I believe it's Minneapolis, might be St. Paul, I don't know, they're pretty much the same thing. I want to say it was Minneapolis, and I went to fill my prescription, and they called me up. I had no copays, nothing. I mean, I was praying, I was crossing my fingers that I didn't have to pay anything, because I ended up only getting a 1 milliliter bottle, which literally is maybe 2 inches long, like 2 inches tall, and it is just not even. It's probably like an inch tall, and it's small. And so I was praying that I didn't have to pay for anything, and I had no copays, nothing, absolutely nothing. So therefore, I knew it was covered, and I was very fortunate enough to have my testosterone covered. So I didn't have a problem there, and I still don't have to pay for it. I have no copays on prescriptions, no copays on any kind of visit to the doctor regarding my hormones. I my I mean my insurance is awesome. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield through the state of Minnesota, and they have really, I guess, helped me out in the sense of there's no questions asked. Like they understand everything. They're the second most trans-friendly state, and so that was amazing. I mean, it really helped. Um, I know some people have to get blood work done before they go get hormones. In the sense of like, I mean, they have to look at their testosterone, their testosterone's level checked, their estrogen, and all that stuff. I only had to get the simple cholesterol, a couple blood counts, and there was like a hemoglobin, I think it was, and that was it. I only need a couple of that, and then a physical, which I know can be very uncomfortable for some people. I know it was for me, but it has to be done, especially with the history I have in my family. I needed it done, and so I mean, it was just quick, really quick pap. I mean, it wasn't extremely, just sitting there for a half hour. It was my doctor did it really quick, and so that helped. Other than that though, everything was a breeze. I mean, everything was. My hormone doctor started me out at point one. She starts everyone. I mean, I think everyone that I've talked to that goes to her starts everyone off at point one milliliters or point one cc's, and then you go get your blood work done 6 weeks from that first appointment, from when you first start T, and you have to get your blood work done halfway between your shots. So I do mine on a Monday, so I always schedule my appointments on a Thursday, so you have like the even level of testosterone. And I went back in 2 months later, about a month ago, and got my we talked about my levels, and she only raised me up a little bit to 0.15, which is really hard to draw back on some syringes. So it's hard. It's kind of like a hit or miss. Sometimes I do exactly 0.15, or I'll go to 0.2, just because it's kind of hard. But I mean, I go back now for the next 2 months for the next year just to get my levels checked, and then after that, typically most people go back every 6 months. Some doctors require you to go back every 6 months before they'll refill your prescription. Otherwise, they won't refill it at all. Like I said, it varies doctor by doctor, state by state kind of thing. But mine was a breeze. Like I said, I don't have to pay for anything. I got my letter right before 3 months. Everything was a breeze for me. I know I kind of probably don't really help because I didn't have complications with getting my hormones, and I don't have to pay anything for it. So I can try to help you out. I mean, I'm willing to try to answer questions, try to help you out. So yeah, that was my experience with getting my hormones. I hope it helped, and I will see you guys next week.